Good morning, vinyl community, and welcome to 6 a.m. again. It seems like I'm making my videos earlier and earlier, but I have an unexpected long weekend. I've talked about this before. I work overnights, and I got a text message from work as I'm heading into work in the middle of a bad snowstorm saying that there was no shift tonight. So I head back home, and for the second weekend in a row, I have a long weekend, so I'll say cheers to that. And then, of course, I've talked about this also, trying to turn your sleep patterns back around, etc., equals, I'm still up at 6 a.m. This might be a longer video and a little bit more subdued. I may talk about this at the end of the video, for those of you who stay to the end of my videos. I know a lot of people who watch Vinyl Find videos, they skip, or they fast forward to the Vinyl Find, and they skip the blah blah, and they skip to the next Vinyl Find. But for those of you who stick around to the end, I might, if I feel up to it, I'll talk about it. It's been really a horrendous last 5 days. And I know a lot of people don't like to talk about their personal life, which I understand. I don't feel like I'm giving anything away. It's, you know me, I know you. I think it's like, it's like a slice of life. We get to know each other, and I find it adds a bit of color. Rounds out Vinyl Find videos anyways, if there's a little personal element. So for those of you who care to stick around, if I feel up to it at the end, it kind of involves a vinyl community members in a roundabout kind of way, in a very minor way, but there you have it. So that might explain why it might be a bit longer video, a little subdued. But anyways, I kind of hesitated making this video today, but I just felt like I needed to get my mind off of something that happened, which I'll talk about later, possibly. Oh, well, where do I start? I'm going to have to make a new music room tour. I've added some new pieces to my setup. One out of necessity, a new CD player, which is not big news, but my incredibly reliable Pioneer, which my late father bought me in '95, a very expensive unit too at the time, finally bit the green wiener, as we say, or it died. So I added a new Denon CD player, I added a new center channel, and a new power conditioner to cut out a lot of the static in this house, a lot of electricity issues that were causing some interference. So some new pieces, maybe I'll do a new room tour video and kind of show you what I got going on. What else to talk about? Like I said, I'm behind in my Vinyl Find video, my Vinyl Finds to show you. I'm down to about 3 piles to show you. After filing away stuff, I'm not going to show you. Anyways, so I picked out a selection today. I got 2 VCLTs to talk about, and maybe some other stuff, who knows. So cheers, everyone. I got 1 new CD to show you. Oh, first of all, what you're listening to, if you can hear it in the background, and I'm sure you can. And by the way, when I play music in the background, and there's I get a copyright email from YouTube. When they detect what I'm listening to. But if I have commercials in my videos as a result of music playing, can you please drop a comment below and let me know? I don't want commercials in my videos. I don't want to monetize. I find commercials in videos and Vinyl Find videos very annoying and a tad pretentious, is my opinion. So anyways, if there is, let me know and I'll stop the music, full stop. I don't want commercials. But what you're listening to is one of the best jazz albums maybe ever, is Wayne Shorter's Speak No Evil. I don't want to go at length about this album, but trust me, Ron Carter on bass, Elvin Jones on drums. Elvin Jones plays on every great jazz albums, it seems like. Herbie Hancock's on this album. Just a stacked lineup on Freddie Hubbard on trumpet. So anyways, that's what you're listening to right now in the background. 1 new CD to show you, and I'm sure everyone is probably showing this one, or maybe a lot of people, I'm guessing, because it's Beatles. But I didn't go for the vinyl, and the only reason I went for the CD was because there was an Amazon oops, and they inverted the 1 and the 3, so I paid $13.99, not $31.99 for this. So I thought for $13.99 it's worth it for the bonus content, for demos, etc., etc. But it's the new Beatles White Album reissue. I haven't even heard it yet. I just got it recently. It's been a busy week. Anyways, I'm looking forward to listening to this in my car. But that's my only one CD pickup. Well, I guess I can play it on my new Denon CD player, I guess. But anyways, Beatles. I don't want to go on too much about it because I'm sure there's 1,000 videos about this album. But the only new CD purchase, I got this, well, since my last video anyways. Where to go to? Let's go to, I'll go to my only new vinyl purchase, and then I'll get to my VCLTs. Okay, don't hate me, but every now and again I drop into Urban Outfitters in a local mall by my house. Because they do these ridiculous price drops. And sometimes when they have a stack of something, like they got a lot of one album and I'm interested in it, I'll wait it out, and I'll wait it out, and I'll wait it out until it finally goes into their clearance. And I think I waited a year on this one. And I drop by periodically to see if the price dropped, and then it did, finally. Whew, that was a long wait, because I didn't want to pay full pop for it, because I'm cheap. But I'm happy to have it, though. I finally, like I said, you know, for everyone's opinion on Urban Outfitters, when their vinyl drops in price, I don't care. It's the same record you can get anywhere else, same pressing. So I have no reservation stopping in there looking for into their clearance bin. But I finally got a copy of Sade Greatest Hits. I love me some Sade. But this finally price dropped to a ridiculously low price, and I'm very happy to get it. So thank you, Urban Outfitters, for having no concern about your prices. Your loss is my gain. So anyways, Sade's Greatest Hits was the only new vinyl purchase I did get, I think. And I'll probably stumble across something and I'll be a complete liar. But anyways, there you go. Sade's Greatest Hits, courtesy of Urban Outfitters. Anyways, one more time. Let's go to some VCLTs. There's a gentleman I conversed with on Facebook, Mark Michaels. And I'm going to call it a VCLT. I sent him a package. He sent me a package. I sent him a selection of Kiss singles. I think there's a Rush single in there. I think something else. Anyways, and he sent me a package, which whenever I get VCLTs, I don't get them very often. I've talked about this before. It's very cost prohibitive to ship things to Canada. But when I do, I don't feel worthy. I feel insanely grateful, in fact, that someone would take the time and effort to do that. And so it's never not incredibly appreciated, and I'm humbled by that, by the gesture. So I got two to show you. First of all, once again from Mark Michaels. What was it? The CD you sent me, Mark, is in my car right now. It's a CD by a band called Arion. Maybe I'll show that next video, but it's in my car, and I'm not going to go trudge the snow to get it right now. Sorry. Hope you understand. But Mark sent me a selection of 7-inch singles. All were insanely great. I got an original Creation Records pressing of Primal Screams Loaded, which I did not have. I got a copy of Depeche Mode, a single I didn't have. It's the picture sleeve version of Everything Counts, the live version. I got the Canadian version that didn't have a picture sleeve, but so I got that one. Thank you very much for that. It goes into my insanely large Depeche Mode collection. New Order's Bizarre Love Triangle. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This will get lots of use DJing. Thank you very much. Bizarre Love Triangle, picture sleeve. And then a single from Heart off their Brigade album, which I didn't have, or I haven't heard actually, I hadn't heard before, for a song called Secret. So thank you very much for that, Mark. I really do appreciate it. I hope you like the package I sent you. In fact, I know you do. That you sent me a message telling me that. So, but thank you very much for that. The next was a very unexpected package from a gentleman named Andy Newton, who watches my videos. So thank you, Andy, for this. He sent me one of my remaining singles I needed for my, well, you can't see it anymore. It's up there now, in a room you can't see, for my Legacy box of my favorite singles of all time, which I've talked about way too much. But he sent me, I think I mentioned this in my last video, or 2 videos ago, whatever it was, that this was one of the singles I was having trouble locating for that box, and he sent me it along with some other stuff. But it's a copy of Levi Stubbs' Tears by Billy Bragg. I have the 12-inch for this. I have the album it came off of. I didn't have the 7-inch for this. Not incredibly rare or valuable, just you can't find this in my parts. So thank you so much, Andy. This means a lot to me. One of my favorite songs of all time. Billy Bragg's Levi Stubbs' Tears. And then he sent me some other stuff. He sent me 2 10-inch singles by New Model Army. Which, by the way, Andy, I've booked in my city here, and I've put on. I used to book for a club in my city, and I had New Model Army, which was one of those bucket list shows that I got to book here. But he sent me one for Space, numbered 10-inch. This has a really great live version of Stupid Questions on the B-side. And then he sent me one, Get Me Out, the 12-inch version with some live tracks on the back of it. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for that. And then he sent me a copy of Aztec Camera's Love album, which I did not have, which is, I think it's their most commercially successful album. And Alex said an album I haven't heard in a long, long time, but a really great album from, what year was this? 87. So thank you very much for that. This was a nice surprise, an album that I hadn't thought about in such a long time, and you sent it to me. So thank you very much for that. So I want to say thank you to Mark Michaels and Andy Newton. That's beyond nice of you. And if I can reciprocate in any way, you guys know I will. Thank you. I'm getting on in time. I might have to cut this short now. I came across one of my grails. And I've talked about this before, and I'll talk about it again. It's your life. You can have more. A lot of people say you can't have more than one grail. You know, some people show grails, plural. And I've read these comments. Well, grail is singular. You can't have more than one grail. Yeah, you can. You can have 100 grails. It's your life. You can have whatever you want. How's that for an aside? I almost went on a rant there. Anyways, I got one of my grail items, and I've talked about Mott the Hoople of late. I've been really into Mott the Hoople in the last year, but finding their pre-All the Young Dudes albums are very hard in Canada. In fact, I went to UK. You guys know, if you see my videos, I filmed a video from London over the summer, where I went everywhere in London, and I did not see this album once. So if you can't find this in England, their home country, who knows? And then lo and behold, I go to a local record store, which I haven't been to in maybe a year for various reasons. And I stopped by there with my wife over the weekend, and they had a copy of it. I want to say thank you. And in the end, they were incredibly nice to me. Very, very pleasant people to talk to, and because I hadn't been there in a year. So it was a very nice experience. So I want to say thank you to Record Collectors Paradise. I really appreciate your hospitality, and I found, and you guys don't know this, but I found one of my grails there. Mott the Hoople, brain. I want to say brain cappers. It might be brain keepers for all I know. But I've never heard anyone talk about this album, so I'm going to say, is it brain capers? I think if it's cappers, it's 2-piece. It's called brain capers. You guys will correct me. But I consider this to be their best pre-All the Young Dudes album. And it's like, I know it's in the shrink. And I'm not going to, I never overuse the word near mint. A lot of people kind of argue grading that as that. I'm just going to say it's an incredibly nice, clean, no noise on this album. Condition copy of this album by Mott the Hoople. Canadian copy on Island Records. Just what a thrill to find this album there. So thank you very much for having this in stock. I really do appreciate that. And then while I was there, I used to pick up a lot of singles there. And then they had this one there, which I didn't have. And it's not nothing to go up into your roof and shout about, but I didn't have this one by Pat Benatar. It's a 12-inch single for Love is a Battlefield. And the reason why I got this, it has the extended version on this, which is very nice to play D things sometimes, or it's a really nice version of Love is a Battlefield. But anyways, I got this there too as well, so thank you very much for that as well. All right, woo, I got a stack for you. I'm going to try to blow through them. This is a combination of, you guys all know, thrift stores, some local record stores, antique mall stuff kind of things. So you guys all know where I get this stuff. Let's kind of let's just get by that. That's, you know, I can't think of the words now. But, let's, you know, you guys know. Anyways, I got a copy of Pink Floyd, Masters of Rock. I don't know if this will be my screen cap or not. Maybe not. Anyways, this is a from the Netherlands, I believe, on the Blue Columbia label. It's kind of like relics. I have a copy of Best of Pink Floyd from the Netherlands, which the track listing is very similar to this. But Masters of Rock, just a collection of their early stuff, their first couple albums. I wasn't going to pass this up. Anyways, Masters of Rock by Pink Floyd. Really nice collection of their early kind of Syd Barrett stuff. And I think there's some stuff kind of post-Syd Barrett on here as I take a peek. Yeah, I think it goes up to Amagama, I believe. Anyways, Pink Floyd, Masters of Rock. And then I got this, what did I get? This next two I got at another local record store for a very good deal, actually. An original German pressing of Iron Maiden Killers. This might be my screen cap, because, you know, Iron Maiden brings in the clicks, doesn't it? There you go. Really super nice original, like I said, original German pressing of this. And whoever had this sure loved their Iron Maiden. They made all nice graffiti on the inner sleeve. I was going to put a new inner sleeve on it, but it's so nice. Someone loved this album so much. And on the other side, there's other writing, but it's really nice to see someone had loved this album. But you took good care of it, because it's really nice and clean copy of Iron Maiden Killers. And then I got a copy of U2 Boy on the Blue Island label. This cover I didn't have, actually. I believe it came in 2 covers, which I didn't have this cover. So U2 Boy, nothing really more to talk about this, but this has I Will Follow, which I still play DJing and kids still love. Go figure that one. I definitely know this is thrift store stuff coming up. I'm looking through this. I want to be as accurate as possible for the sake of transparency. But speaking of Pink Floyd, this happened the other day. I found a copy of Amagama. I just talked about this album. This was at a thrift store. I think this might be, in all my years of thrift store shopping, my second or third Pink Floyd find at a thrift store. Nice Harvest Records pressing of Amagama. Amagama, debates abound about this album, where one album is really, it's 2 albums. One album is really good and the other album is kind of shit. But, you know, that's all relative. It's all up to the listener, I guess. But Amagama at a thrift store. Nice condition copy of that one. Actually, I already have it. But like I said, a lot of these things I show you that I already have copies of, I'm not leaving them there. And you wouldn't either. Interesting find. A band called Mallow, which I was totally unfamiliar with. It just looked interesting. Look at the picture on the sleeve. It turns out to be like a Latin jazz fusion rock album that did fairly well when this album came out. But if you're looking for a really good, I hate the word, in fact Santana's brother is in this band. It's kind of reminiscent of Santana. But if you're looking for an alternative Santana, Mallow's first album, really good album for Latin, jazz, rock, fusion kind of stuff. This was what, I want to say 1972. I could be wrong on that. But anyways, what a nice find. Like I said, I just picked it up on pure impulse, and then I did the research when I got home. Really great album. So Mallow, first album. M-A-L-O, for those of you who want to investigate Mallow. Well worth the $1.99 I paid for it. That's for damn sure. Then I found a copy of, this was just yesterday, I believe, Taj Mahal, Giant Step. This is the double album? This is the double album version with the old folks at home. But Taj Mahal, Giant Step, one of those kind of, arguably one of those essential albums you probably should listen to. Taj Mahal, Giant Steps, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this album. And then I found an original UK pressing of the first Quicksilver Messenger Service album, which is psychedelic at its best. The Bay Area, San Francisco sound from the late 60s, but a really nice original on the Capitol Rainbow label from the UK. what a weird find. But the nice glossy sleeve from EMI UK. The first, I want to say the first 2 or 3 Quicksilver Messenger Service albums are absolutely fantastic, along with Happy Trails. But this one is maybe their most psychedelic album, as you can tell by the cover. Great album, and what a nice find. I was so excited about that one. I found yet again, and I feel like a dick saying yet again, but I found another copy. I was with my wife last weekend, or last Friday, and this was at a thrift store. Another copy of David Bowie's Ziggy Stardust. This must be my 7th copy. This is an original, yeah, it is, an original Canadian pressing on the Dynaflex RCA label. You know about Dynaflex, or like thin as shit albums, which aren't bad. A lot of people bag on those records, but they're pretty good. Another copy of Ziggy Stardust, an original Canadian pressing, which I'm not sure why I'm hanging on to that many copies, but it's one of my favorite albums. Like the Mallow album, this was a pure blind buy. Some coverware, but I don't care about that. Eric Burdon and the Animals, Love Is. And I found this at the thrift store, and I'm kind of debating it. The cover's kind of a little bit roached, but who cares? The vinyl's nice. Then I discovered who the guitar player on this album is, and you can hardly tell. This guy right here. The guitar player on this album is Andy Summers from The Police. This is obviously before The Police. And if you want to hear some great Andy Summers playing, before The Police, when he was allowed to kind of stretch out a bit, the last song, Gemini, which is almost 11-minute track, Andy Summers has an extended guitar solo in that, and you can hear what he could do when he was allowed to kind of stretch out. Within The Police, it was a bit hard. Within the context of The Police, for him to kind of stretch out a bit. He did sometimes, but this was a really nice surprise. The fact that Andy Summers was on this, when I kind of flipped open and looked who the players were, I said, oh, what the hell, I'll spend a couple bucks on that one. So Eric Burdon and the Animals, Love Is. Really nice album. Reggae. I very rarely find reggae at thrift stores. Every now and again. It kind of comes in bunches for some reason. You'll go a year without finding anything of note. And then you kind of find a stack, which is always nice. But Doug Armstrong might be the only one interested in this. But this is an original Jamaican pressing of Big Youth, Screaming Target, which is worth... first I'm going to talk about this. This was the dirtiest album I ever found for dirt. Not for curse words. But it was... I'm gonna exaggerate, but it looked like a ½ inch of dirt on one side of it. I don't know how it got that dirty. So I was like, oh man, underneath all that dirt, it's gonna be wrecked. On the Jaguar label, by the way. I got it home. I didn't want to put it right in my spin clean, so I kind of sprayed it a bit, just got the dirt off. And then I got enough dirt off where I could spin clean it several times over, and it's actually in pretty nice condition. You can't really see that, but it's in pretty nice damn condition. I'd say VG, bordering on VG plus, but it's really a rare, expensive album. On Discogs, I think it was almost $100 Canadian as the median value of it, just for context. But you know what? In this condition, it's maybe $50 album. Big Youth, Screaming Target. Whether I keep it or not, I don't know. It's just exciting to find this kind of stuff in original pressing, any kind of original Jamaican reggae pressings. And then this album is unfamiliar to me, and it still has the tag on it, sorry, from Goodwill. Is Boris Garnier Happening, Sledgehammer. Once again, it seems to be a very wanted album on Prestige Records. Reggae album, and I've yet to listen to this, but these rare reggae albums, when they turn up in bunches. But if you guys know this album, let me know. I picked it up on a hunch, but I was, like I said, rare reggae. I'm not going to leave it there. Then a copy of Third World, self-titled, I believe, from 1976. Third World albums are, if you're going to find reggae at thrift stores, you find Third World albums. But I've never really seen this one before, so that was a no-brainer to pick up Third World. I'm going to rush through these now. Don't go by the cover, but I caught a copy. This is like, it was like a buck. Or a $1.99, whatever it was. A Stephen Wolf monophonic Original Dunhill Records pressing. Cover, like I said, once again, has seen better days, but the vinyl's really nice. And this has Born to Be Wild. It's got Hoochie Coochie Man. What's that? Oh, it has the Pusher. So it has kind of 2 or 3 of their biggest hits they ever had. With Steppenwolf, Monophonic. Once again, you know what? I will never buy this album as a re-release, and I'll never seek it out as a minty condition original pressing. But if I find these at thrift stores and the cover's kind of crap, but the vinyl's playable and nice, I'll pick them up every time. Because it's what a nice, inexpensive way to explore some of these albums. So don't be thrown by condition at thrift stores of the covers. If the vinyl's nice, you can spin clean it, you can get a couple plays out of it. You know what? The more you know. So, Steppenwolf, Monophonic. Original Dunhill Records pressing. Loudon Wainwright III, a live one. What an odd find at a thrift store, sporting his... See, it's like a hockey game here. The Islanders versus Detroit. I think right now, I don't know, it would be a pick'em in 2018 who would win that game. But, anyways. And I'm not sure why I'm wearing my Gordie Howe jersey. I just threw it on today. It's cold. But for you hockey fans, I hope there's some of you out there. I saw Gordie Howe play when I was young, when he was playing in the WHA. Slice of life. Anyways, Loudon Wainwright. This is a live album he did. I'm going to say it's late 70s, early 80s. Not familiar with this album in particular, but I do know Loudon Wainwright III. Not personally. I know his music. So that was a really interesting find. I got another really nice condition copy of the Ventures Play Telstar. If you're going to pick up a Ventures album, this is probably one of the best ones to pick up. And if you don't like it, people are always looking for a nice condition copy of this album. Original Dalton Records pressing of the Ventures Play Telstar. So I'm trying to breeze through this one. Really, you know what? An album I don't know if I would normally pick up. But it was in such nice condition, and it was in this hall of thrift store stuff, was Wings at the Speed of Sound, which has silly love songs on it. But, you know, any McCartney album at a thrift store, if you don't have it and it's in good condition, it's worth picking up for $1 or $2. So the Wings at the Speed of Sound I picked up Aphrodite's Child, best known for their album 666, one of the most kind of essential progressive rock albums ever. But this is the best of. I think I've had this one once before in my collection, and I've passed it along. But this is a nice German condition copy of Aphrodite's Child, the best of. This was such a weird find last weekend at a thrift store. It was an original pressing of the Monkees' Pool It. Now this album was made, by the way, it's not a very good album. In fact, it's bordering on horrible. I've just never seen it at a thrift store. An original pressing on Rhino, I believe it is. This was the album they made after they kind of got big again, after MTV started showing their episodes again. And then they did, I think they did a song called This Is Then, This Is Now, or That Was Then, This Is Now, that was on, I think, a Greatest Hits album. And then they made this album, Pool It, without Mike Nesmith. And I love Mike Nesmith. But an album without him, it could be okay. But this one, but I wasn't gonna pass this up. It's good. It's a good collection filler, and just I have great memories from that time. I was young. I had MTV, and I was discovering this new thing called the Monkees in the '80s, and I lived through that monkey mania again in the '80s. And yeah, not a good album. But you know what? I was happy to find that for a couple bucks. And then a nice in the shrink copy of Elvis Presley, Loving You. Sings the song something. Yeah. This is a soundtrack. In the shrink. And you know what? I picked this. I've been seeing a ton of Elvis albums at thrift stores. A ton. This one has Let Me Be Your Teddy Bear, Loving You, Blueberry Hill, cover of Blueberry Hill. But it's got some great songs on it. Have I Told You Lately That I Love You? And it's in such nice condition. I think it's a reissue of some kind from, not sure when, 70s or 80s, whatever. But nice inner sleeve. But nice in the shrink copy, just a pristine copy of Elvis Presley, Loving You. Once again, another album I would never pick up normally. but for that price, a couple just fun albums. And you know why? I'm going to tell you why I picked this one up. My wife was with me, and I asked her, should I get it? And she said, yeah, why aren't you getting it? Of course you're getting this album. Is The Muppet Show Volume 2. And you know why I got this album? It's got Pigs in Space. It's got Pigs in Space on it. Anyways, it's a selection of some of the best little bits of... it was all recorded for this album, but it's got some of your best known things on it. I grew up on it. And it's got Pigs in Space. Yeah. Memories. Final one I'm going to show you, and then I guess I might have a little talk just to get some stuff off my chest here. But I don't even know what pressing this is. I thought it was an original pressing. I don't care. It's an early pressing of Africa Bambaataa with the sonic full force of Planet Rock. One of the most essential, best early rap electro songs of all time. Of course, the backing track is Kraftwerk's Trans-Euro Express, I believe, or Autobahn, I can't remember which one. Anyways, on an early Tommy Boy label. But I just mention this because it's historically important. It's one of the, like I said, first albums of what became rap, or first song that kind of broke big. And it was Planet Rock. Still sounds as good now as it did then. I was so happy to find the original, well, I won't say original, it's an early pressing of Africa Bambaataa, Planet Rock. I think that's all I'm going to show you today. I'm looking at piles and piles, but that's okay. Anyways, I want to really quickly do this in a few minutes or less, and I hesitate talking about this because and I didn't want to, I'm not going to mention this in the title. It's just something just to talk about. It's between us. But anyways, I've talked about my dogs a lot. I think in a couple of videos they've made little guest appearances by accident. They've kind of bum rushed my videos, but suddenly last Sunday, one of my dogs passed away suddenly. Shelby passed away. And I have Mika and Shelby, and Shelby made it to 14 years old. And suddenly last Sunday morning, she passed away. And to some people, dogs are accessories. I'm not talking about anyone in particular, but you know, they get the house, they get the wife, or they get the husband, and they get the kid, and they get the dog because they feel like they have to. Or they have some people have purse dogs that just they carry around all the time, and there's kind of our accessories. So there's dogs that are pets, and then there's dogs that are family. And our one dog, Mika, who's upstairs right now, sleeping, very much is my wife's, you know, there are dogs, but she's a mommy's girl. She's all about the mom. And Shelby was all about me. She was kind of like, you know, my kids, you know, they're older. One's living abroad, and one is 16, and dealing with his parents is the last thing 16-year-olds want to do. So, this wasn't a recent thing. It's just kind of like since we've had the dogs, it's been the dogs have been our family, and have been our, you know, they're what we talk about the most. They're the crux of our day is based around their walks and playing with them, and you know, cuddling with them, and it's just and Shelby passed away, and Shelby was my girl. And it's been a really, really hard 5 days. And I got a really nice message from Billy Hurst, who went through a very similar thing not that long ago. He lost his beloved animals, or dog. And I'm sorry, Billy, I'm brain farting. Whether it was I think it was one dog that you lost, and I saw the posts about it at the time, and I never seen those posts, and wondering what would happen if that happened to me, and it did happen to me, and. It's one of those, if a dog or a cat, I guess a cat can be, or any animal can be like this, but if an animal is your life, it's just part of you. You know, Shelby followed me everywhere around the house, and she slept with me when I came home from work, and my wife was gone at work, and I was all about my Shelby. and she died. And it's very hard to talk about, but I feel like I just, you know, get it off my chest a bit. It's been a really lonely week without Shelby. Oh, 5 days, I guess. And it's just been a really horrendous last 5 days. And I feel like I'm kind of, like I said, I'm not sure if I mentioned this off the top, because I talk a lot. But I felt like I'm kind of forcing a YouTube video. And I was thinking, do I make this video? Because who knows if I'll make it through it, because I'm still very, very, very upset. And I thought, you know, making a YouTube video right now would kind of get my mind off of things for at least a little bit. The video is not disingenuous. It's just, it's, you know, not my usual self. And I hope, I know some of you out there have animals, and you feel the same as I do. And some of you don't. I understand that. And it was just very out of the blue and very sudden, and it hits you like a sledgehammer. It's like one of your children dying. It is like one of your children dying. Our dogs were and you know, people say, well, my animals are my kids, or they're my children. You kind of roll your eyes at them like they're crazy, but they really were. They were part of our family, just like our children. And you know what? I'm not religious in any way, shape, or form, and I know a lot of you are, and I respect your beliefs, and I hope you respect my beliefs. But you know what? The attraction of thinking of an afterlife is something. It's a very attractive thing to think of. There's an afterlife, which, you know, I don't believe there is, but it's nice to think that, you know, when I finally pass on, it's a nice kind of ideal to think about, or notion, or whatever you want to call it, to think of that Shelby will be waiting for me, which I hope she is. That it's a nice thought. So, like I said, I'm not a spiritual person, but I'm kind of hanging on to that thought right now, that in the end, that, oh, who knows? You can never say never, right? So I would love to be proved wrong on this topic, but it's nice. It's a nice thought to think that she'll be waiting for me in the end. So there you go. So like I said, who knows what my schedule will be for videos coming up. It's like I said, it's hard, and this is not something you get over easily. And who knows if I ever will get over it. But so there's going to be a lot less barking in my videos. You guys, if you watch my videos, will know that. And I always refer to the barking and where the dogs are and when they're bum rushing the video. And so I guess our focus right now is to our other dog, who's 14, is to kind of keep her company and make sure she's well. Because our two dogs were best friends for 14 years. They just lived 24 hours together. So when one dies, it's kind of like, you know, you got to worry about the other one. So that's kind of what our main focus is right now. Not in vinyl shopping or things like that, but I'm sure we'll go out and just to get our mind off of things, because it's very, very heavy around here right now. So anyways, I hope you understand why I talked about this. I don't want this to seem like I'm not encouraging comments. I'm not encouraging, you know, all Dave feel better kind of things. I'm not looking for clicks. I'm not looking for sympathy. It's just something between us. I like to share little things, tidbits from my life, and I appreciate when you guys kind of do the same in your videos. But that's what it is, and it's probably the biggest kind of blow to me I've ever had, next to my father passing away a few years ago. So yeah, I hope you guys understand, and I hope you guys, you know, kind of know what one goes through when this happens to you. So this is a long video, but I think it's warranted. As a little tribute, I would feel like I'm doing a disservice to Shelby if I didn't kind of mention her in some form or fashion. But anyways, this has been David Michael, Nazz Nomad. I hate to end on a really somber note if you've made it to the end of the video, but yeah, it's very tough. So anyways, I don't want to go on about it. I'll probably get upset. So cheers everyone from David. Getting to the end of the cup here. We'll see whenever my next video is. I don't know. We'll see when it is, and I appreciate you watching. I appreciate the VCLTs. I do appreciate the comments, and we'll see you next time. Take care.